2 underway. Still taking your feedback. 8 a.m. Tuesday, February 10th, right here on Jocks. You want to discuss that NCAA Charles Bediako situation? We've got more time after Angie Burcham to be able to do that. But as we do each and every week at this time, we welcome in the voice of the Auburn Tigers, thanks to our friends at Craneworks.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
The voice of the Auburn Tigers, Andy Burcham, on Mac and Cube in the Morning is brought to you by Craneworks. Lifted, buy and rented, the big dog's got it. Now, Andy Burcham.
Andy, always great to have you in on a Tuesday. Dropping leads, close games, not necessarily going Stephen Pearl's way. Is this sort of a mental hurdle that this team can get over for the rest of the season?
Yes, it is. And they have already this season. They've had 2 ball games in the last 2 weeks. I mean, Auburn didn't play a midweek game last week. So its last 2 games were at Tennessee, where it never led, and then this past Saturday where it had a brief 10-point lead near the end of the first half against Alabama. And then Alabama did what it does and hit 2 huge threes down the stretch. As a matter of fact, hit its last 4 shots at the end of the first half, and the lead went from 10-4 by halftime. And then Alabama took the lead in the second half and kind of went back and forth from there. Yeah, you're in the middle of a conference year. You're in the middle of a very tough stretch of basketball in the SEC, and you've got another really tough team tonight in Vanderbilt, and then you go on the road to Arkansas this Saturday. So it's just that kind of season. This league there is not maybe Florida is the clear-cut favorite right now, the way it is played recently, but this is a league right now that is topsy-turvy, to be honest. And this is something Auburn can get over, but it will have to do that against very, very tough opponents. And it starts tonight against the number 19 team in the country in Vanderbilt at Neville Arena.
I had to listen to some of the game with you. It sounded great. It was at the moment kind of there in the second half. My son had a basketball game. Driving back, I was listening to y'all for a little bit there. It was really good. Enjoyed it. But help me understand what the scene was like, because it looked insane. We got to watch the first half on TV. It looked insane, but it was kind of sloppy, and it never. The game had a strange rhythm to it early. I don't know if you sensed it that way or if it felt that way. It felt like the crowd was kind of on pins and needles throughout. How would you kind of describe the atmosphere?
Well, I thought it was a great atmosphere, Greg. I thought it was, the students had been there since Tuesday camping out. Everybody was ready for that game. It was absolutely packed, standing room only. And I thought it was a really good basketball game. Yeah, was it executed perfectly? Far from it. But rarely are these games are. I thought it was a terrific atmosphere. It was back and forth. Thought it was a well officiated game. It was, and there were both teams went on runs. Auburn's run came, near the end of the first half, and it was quickly vanquished by Alabama. Alabama went on runs in the second half. Auburn came back, and then Alabama got some big buckets down the stretch, including, I thought if there was a play in the game that I wouldn't say sealed the deal, but was a big exclamation mark, was Aiden Holloway's 4-point play down in the left corner late in the second half. And I think that took it from a 3 to a 7-point lead or something like that. I just thought that was an enormous play for Alabama. I thought, there was a while that Auburn just did not defend very well in the second half, and some of that has to do with Alabama's offense and its explosive nature. But it and the head coach talked about it after the game on our post game and with the media as well. He was not happy at all with Auburn's defense in the second half. I mean, his point was, if we score 92 points in the SEC, we should win the game, and that simply wasn't the case this past Saturday.
Andy Burcham joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Where does Auburn go from the perimeter moving forward? There doesn't feel like there have been many games where they've been elite from behind the 3-point line. Do you just continue trying to find it? Do you maybe shift gears a little bit, try to find other ways to generate offense?
Well, you'll recall after the game at Tennessee, I think Auburn took 31 threes in that game, and Stephen Pearl wasn't happy about that. Listen, he's not one that puts his thumb down on this offense, but he felt that Auburn settled for 3-pointers in that game more than it should have. Keyshawn Hall had a good game. It wasn't a great game for Auburn. From an offensive standpoint, it may have been one of the best all-around games that Todd Pettiford has played for Auburn, certainly this season. And his 25 points was an SEC high, and he added 7 assists in the game. So I thought Auburn took a step in the right direction from the perimeter. Auburn's problem Saturday was his defense, and primarily in the second half against Alabama. And again, you have to give some credit that that's a very good Alabama backcourt when you have Reitzel and Holloway and Filan. I mean, and then guys coming off the bench. That's about as good as you're going to see, especially in the Southeastern Conference, as far as a perimeter game is concerned. So, I thought Auburn took a step in the right direction from the outside. I thought Alabama played pretty good defense on the interior late in that game. You'll recall Keyshawn Hall a couple times trying to get to the rim with the game on the line in the second half. I thought Alabama's defense was good on the perimeter or on the low post in the second half on Saturday. So it's a game you learn from, and it's a quick turnaround for Auburn. And you get another team that through the early part of the Southeastern Conference, because there was no team hotter than Vanderbilt coming in. They're 19-4, they're 6-4 in the SEC, and it's another elite set of guards that Auburn faces tonight, led by Tyler Tanner, who, in spite of that loss this past weekend at home to Oklahoma, scored 37 points, including 15 in the last 2 minutes of that game. And Vandy ended up losing by 1 after trailing big all day long. So Auburn goes from another set of elite guards, or from one set of elite guards in Alabama to another set in Vanderbilt tonight.
What do you think you would like to see done maybe a little bit better in the final month? Well, what is the biggest area that needs to improve? I think if you listen to Stephen Pearl, it's defense. It sounds like, but it seems like it's always defense with him. But what do you think is a capable step that this group can take here in the next month or so to kind of have some things in line for an NCAA tournament run?
Consistency is the main thing to me, and consistency in a game from one half to the other, and consistency from one game to another. Whether it is playing the elite defense that Stephen Pearl wants his ball club to play, and we have seen glimpses of it this season, or at times playing smarter, perhaps, from an offensive standpoint. I think it's easy in a game like Alabama to get caught up in the pace of that game, because Alabama plays at such a high pace offensively, and rarely do you see Alabama work the play clock, the shot clock down. And I think at times you can get into it's easy to get caught up in that pace, and all of a sudden you're trying to play Alabama's game, and you can't and do it well. So to me, it's consistency. We have seen this team play elite defense. We saw it 2 weeks ago, and we saw Auburn do it on the road. I thought Auburn's defense at Ole Miss, and especially at Florida, was elite defense for Auburn. And Auburn got off to such a great start in that game against Florida and held off the Gators. I don't think we've seen Auburn play that kind of defense since. They did win against Texas, had to come back and win that game against Texas in a game that ended in the 80s. As Stephen said, he felt that Tennessee punked Auburn right from the get-go, and Auburn just never could quite come back. And then this past week, I mean, you're playing a really good Alabama team, and it was a back-and-forth game and a great rivalry game. It was a really good basketball game. It didn't come out the way those of us that look at this game through orange and blue glasses wanted it. Auburn gets another shot at Alabama to close the regular season in Tuscaloosa. I'm sure that will be a great atmosphere at Coleman Coliseum in March. But to me, Greg, it's consistency from half to half and from game to game.
Andy Burcham with us on the Higginbotham Hotline joins us weekly thanks to Craneworks. The loss over the weekend, surprising to me for the Commodores, going down to Oklahoma 92-91. Are there things that you've seen from that, heard from that Auburn can maybe take, sort of replicate, and take into this game against Vandy tonight?
When Auburn has played its best basketball this season, guys, and I just the week of play at Ole Miss and at Florida, Auburn was playing very well defensively and got off to a really good start. And Vanderbilt did not. I mean, Oklahoma jumped out on Vanderbilt this past Saturday in Nashville. That to me is the most surprising, is that it happened at Memorial Gymnasium. And then Vanderbilt makes this near miraculous comeback and has a shot at it late and ends up losing by one. That was, to me, the surprise, because that's an Oklahoma team that has been scuffling a little bit. It had been struggling a little bit. But I think it shows you what this league is like this year. I mean, this is, again, I think Florida is the best team in this league, and maybe they're starting to cement that the way they have played. And that includes dominating Texas A&M this past weekend. And that was a tough week for A&M. I mean, they come in clear leaders in the SEC, and then they lose to Alabama and to Florida. But Vanderbilt still has an opportunity. It is still really, really good. I mean, I mentioned Tanner. Tyler Nickel has 44 threes. They bring Duke Miles off the bench. They play well defensively. They're very good at stealing the basketball. To me, if there was a surprise Saturday, it was the fact and what kind of start that Oklahoma got on the road in Nashville. We'll see if Auburn can do something very similar tonight, starting at 6 o'clock, where our broadcast coverage right here in Jock starts at 5:30.
Andy, we always appreciate the time. We love when you join us each week, and we know you do it thanks to our friends at Craneworks.
And Wasteworks, which is a Craneworks company, provides roll-off dumpster rentals in the Birmingham area with a wide range of sizes and fast service. They are your source local dumpster rentals. Visit wasteworksusa.com for a quote. Guys, hope you have a great week. War Eagle.
War Eagle, Andy. Thank you very much. All right, so you got Auburn Vanderbilt tonight at home. And a Vanderbilt team surprising loss to Oklahoma over the weekend. An Auburn team looking to bounce back at 6 o'clock on the SEC network. That's on Jocks tonight, Say Bear?
It's relentless. When you hear Andy like, all right, well, so you got Bama, you got last week off, big breather. You get Bama on the weekend. You get Vandy tonight. It's like Arkansas coming up. It's just relentless. Every single game is like a complete beast for all these teams.
Yep.
It really is. Brutal.
Crazy. Just when you look at the stretch, and even though the league might not be as deep as a year ago, it may be a little bit more middle heavy, so to speak, which if you're not in the top 2-3 of the league makes it more difficult to go through it and run through it, because the venues are not going to be any less difficult to play in. The overall talent's still going to be there, and maybe dispersed a little bit differently, specifically from a veteran's perspective. But we'll be tuned in tonight, watching it. We'll discuss it, obviously, on tomorrow's show. We haven't gone to college football just yet, but there's an interesting coaching move that took place that comes with some language that is even more interesting. We've talked a lot about where college athletics is today and maybe where it's headed. We've got some more commentary around that you probably haven't heard, and you probably haven't even heard about. You have heard that flu season is here, though. Make your home healthy or Train's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. 100 times more effective than standard air filters, 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. Find a dealer near you at Train.com. It's hard to stop a train. Okay, so when we come back, you'll hear about a coach who recently retired and why. But he's also going back to work. We'll explain next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Talk some college football now. If I threw the name Bobby Hauck out, would you know who I was referencing?
Not until yesterday.
And you would know that mainly because of where he was hired?
Correct. But then I was able to kind of connect the dots and remembered that he was the head coach at South Dakota.
He was the head coach at, Montana.
Montana, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Montana.
Yeah. He played at Montana and Cal. Was a coach at Montana, UCLA, Northern Arizona, Colorado, Washington, UNLV, San Diego State. He'll be the defensive coordinator now at Illinois. And that San Diego State time is important because he runs 3-3-5. So a lot of those Rocky Long principles, as we're now going to see back again at Mississippi State with what they're going to have for their defense and their defensive coordinator returning, are similar to what he has run and what he's going to bring to Illinois. All of those are valid. All of those are real. And had a lot of success at Montana, 166-92. He was 24-16 in the playoffs. So he did some really good things. Picked up a couple of championships, and for that will be remembered there for a long time. However, it was about 2 weeks ago he announced his retirement, and that he was shutting it down. Not all that interesting that he was shutting it down.
No.
But why? This was his retirement press conference. We got the question, John. We'll give you the question as well so you can kind of hear that to gain further context. But listen to Bobby Hauck's reasoning, or at least some of the reasoning that he was deciding not to coach football anymore.
Coach, what was, the straw that broke the camel's back? What about the ever-changing aspect of college football is one of the reasons you're retiring today?
Dealing with agents and the transient nature of this and the lack of forward thinking by young people, which it's never been a strong suit for centuries for young people. But now when they've got adults pushing them and pulling them in different directions, and I kind of got tired of all that, dealing with agents and the transient nature of it. So, I mean, this wasn't like, I don't know if you said, did you just say straw that broke the camel's back? There was nothing like that. This has been residual.
Now, we've seen similar instances to this with Chip Kelly leaving as the head coach at UCLA to go be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. We have not gotten details, Greg, as to, I remember a time when I was at Auburn and Tuberville staff came in, and I realized I'm a dinosaur. This a long time ago. When you would travel usually on Friday, and you would come back after the game on Saturday, but you still had to practice Thursday afternoon. A lot of times, Noel Mazzoni was the only offensive coach there for our Thursday practices. Not every week, but some, because the other coaches were going out and recruiting.
Right.
And then they would meet us in Baton Rouge or Fayetteville or wherever. We wouldn't even know they were out doing these things, really, but we just knew they weren't at that practice. And so I don't know if that meant Noel Mazzoni never recruited or wasn't a recruiter. We know there's only a certain amount of guys because they'll actually move it occasionally. Like a guy will be listed as a coach who can go recruit on the road.
Right.
And then he'll be taken off the list. And Damien can go recruit on the road. And then he comes off, and then Greg can go recruit on the road. So it's musical chairs, so to speak, of guys who can go out and recruit sometimes. But we don't know what deals are made with these coaches. Like, was Chip Kelly told, hey, man, just be at the facility on Saturdays from 9 to 11 to talk to the guys when they walk through if they have questions for you, but we're not sending you on the road. Just give us the game plans, call the plays, figure it out. You don't have to negotiate with agents. You don't have to talk about money, none of that. If the guys come to talk to you about that, send them down the hall. We got it. Don't worry about it. Bobby Hauck, maybe similar. I don't know. We don't know. We're never going to probably know exactly what they are. We've seen situations like this before, though, but it is very interesting to hear those comments.
100%.
And now you're coming back to where it's even more prevalent of how things operate at a Big Ten school.
100%. And that's probably, to me, we've said this a million times. Being a head coach would not be fun right now because you're dealing with all this other stuff and agents and conversations and your GM, and you kind of have to manage the roster and salary cap, and you're having conversations. They're not going to their position coach to complain about how much money they're getting. They might, but guess what? The position coach could say, hey, go talk to the head man. Like, I'm not in charge of that. I'm trying to get you to play at high level. Like, you attack the B gap on this stunt. Like, that's, all right. To me, a position coach and or a coordinator is the best job on planet Earth right now. Like, you get to focus on your side of the ball and you're actually coaching, I don't know, ball. Like, I don't feel like being a head coach would be very fun outside of the salary and the check that you're cashing.
I don't know. I think some of those position coaches are getting very often conversations. I'm just kind of spitballing here. Like, hey, coach, I beat Damian out. He's getting 800 this year. Why am I still getting 200? Mm-hmm. Now, easy, like you said, easy to offset that and just say, hey, you need to go down to the GM's office. Not my league. You're out. That's out of my pay grade. You go down. Like you said, talk to the head man, talk to the GM, talk to the player personnel guy. I don't do that. However, it's in your room, so you know what's coming up at certain points in time.
Oh yeah.
Or even I have heard. I've shared this with you guys before. I've heard instances of player before spring ball who's not making starter money as it pertains to the league. So let's say a left guard. Let's say average starting money in the league for whatever people think that they found is $300,000. He's making $125,000. I have heard conversations where guys are going to the coach saying, I'm not making starter money, so I'm going into the portal. Well, you're not the starter. Yeah, but you're not paying me like a starter, so I don't think you're even going to name me the starter. Like, that's what money is dictating at a lot of places right now. It's wild to think about, but some of the conversations that all these guys are having to have are just insanity to even consider. But also wild to think about, hey, I'm shutting it down largely because of this, yet I'm stepping into that at the same time.
I think it is kind of backwards when you really think about, like, you look at the money a guy's making and you draw conclusions on playing time. That's next level. Like, I understand the sentiment, but in reality,
because what we're never getting is guy who gets beat out and says, hey, coach,
I need to take a little less. I need to get a little less.
Not sure I deserve this 800 anymore. Damian's better than me.
I deserve a little less. He got me. Yeah, we're not seeing a situation like in Remember the Titans where the guy's going over and putting Petey in at corner. He's better than me, coach.
He's better than me, coach.
How often does that happen?
Never.
Most unrealistic movie scene ever. Like,
as long as we're getting our NIL, some guys might say,
okay. I mean, hey, that guy's better than me. Put him in, coach. I can't do it. That doesn't happen very often. No. But I do think that I can understand why guys arrive at that conclusion, but in reality, it's all about leverage circumstances. Like, there's veteran backups in the NFL that are making more money than the starter right in front of them. Andy Dalton's making more money than Bryce Young. Like, it's why? Because of years of service and because of the rookie scale and the rookie deal and all this other stuff. They might be close. Bryce was the number 1 overall pick, but I mean, it's not by a lot. I mean, it's still pretty crazy when you think about it. Because we see it all over the other places. We see it all over the league. I mean, there are sixth men that are making way more than starters in the NBA. Way more. But doesn't matter.
Nope. Crazy to think about. That's kind of where things are and where we are right now. And I don't know what the difference in money is going to be from the head coach at Montana, defensive coordinator at Illinois. I'm going to lean towards more money for the D coordinator at Illinois, since we know that we have, $3 million coordinators in certain places now?
I think that's a lock.
Yeah. With a third of the headaches, even if you're still getting some of those questions, dealing with some of those problems, it is minuscule compared to what you're dealing with as the head coach. I just think it's interesting hearing those comments coming from a coach at that level.
Yeah.
Because I think we often let them sort of escape that. Mm-hmm. We pretend like that's not super real for them, when in reality it's probably just at a very different scale. Mm-hmm. But just as most of those guys, where are they trying to go? Mm-hmm. They're trying to go to the NFL. They're probably trying to go to big-time college football more so because they can go get a bigger paycheck now and then go on possibly to the NFL later. So they're dealing with the same issues. It's just on a little bit of a different scale and probably with less commas than what SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12 coaches are dealing with.
Yeah. I really don't know. Like, in all seriousness, I really don't know exactly where it ends up, but I would imagine the coordinators are making far more than FCS head coaches.
I don't think there's any doubt.
I think it's like double, like probably.
I mean, didn't we see North Dakota State's head coach leave to be the linebacker coach at USC?
Yeah, Matt Entz.
So if that doesn't give you an idea of kind of where things are from a pay scale discrepancy, I'm not sure that anything else would. Crazy to think about it. Drew Hollingshed going to be added as an analyst to Texas A&M. He's been at Western Kentucky and Coastal. Played quarterback for former A&M head coach that's now in the UFL. Why am I forgetting his name? Kevin Sumlin. Gabe Fertitta going to be an assistant at FSU. He'll join Tim Harris on the offensive side of the ball. Had gone down to FCS, now coming back to FBS. Ohio State adds former Samford quarterbacks coach Thomas Morton. He's been at Auburn. He's been at Troy. He'll now be there with the Buckeyes. And in some of the moves that we feel are more normal now, the San Diego Chargers have added Vanderbilt Nichols coach Jimmy Thompson. Like, that's a move that we see a lot that we just say, yeah, no doubt. We understand why guys are making that move to go to the NFL instead of coaching college.
1,000,000%. It's a better lifestyle, better calendar, fewer players, understood collective bargaining. Hey, this guy's making more than me. I don't care. You're playing.
No doubt.
You don't have to answer those questions up there.
There was another head coach that had comments recently, except his were directed at a current head coach, and this coach will not be stepping back into being an active head coach again. But very interesting to what he said to one of the few who hold the national championship in college football now. We'll let you hear these comments next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Earlier in the show, we discussed the NCAA, the rules, the guidelines, maybe the lack of, how they should change, how could they change. Some former college football greats might have a little bit of a different way to look at that. They might see things in a little bit of a different light. Steve Spurrier is being inducted to the South Carolina Sports Hall of Fame and was recently on a Zoom interview because he is being inducted, answering questions to folks. And we know, specifically when it comes to his rivals, be it head coaches at Florida State and Tennessee during his time at Florida, maybe Clemson and others when he was at South Carolina, not afraid to pull back on what he has to say about or to those. So continuing in that tradition, Coach Spurrier had this to say about Dabo Swinney on said Zoom call.
I thought by now somebody would have told Dabo, there ain't no rules anymore. There's no rules. They're still on the books, I guess, back there, about you can't do it after this date or that date. Gosh, basketball, they got pros coming back to playing college there. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to ever, enforce any rules now or not. But I think Dabo has learned now he's got to start paying his players just like everybody else is, or you'll get left behind. You can complain, but I don't know how good it's going to do.
Are you in line with what Coach Spurrier is saying here? And would you operate that way if you were a current head coach?
I mean, it's easier said than done. I think it's when you're in it, you're not going to cast stones. When you're on the outside, it's easy to judge and say, here's how it should go and here's how I would do it and all this other stuff. I love Steve Spurrier. I like Dabo Swinney a lot. Good relationship with both. But I think it's real easy from Steve Spurrier's perspective to say, yeah, you can cheat, you can do this, you can do that, you can have this, you can have that. But in reality, culture still wins. We saw it last year. Just because it didn't materialize at Clemson, we saw it last year with Indiana.
Those were a bunch of grown-ups.
Yeah, they were
a bunch of adults. That was the only reason why they won. Yep, that was it.
Mid-20s.
The only reason why they won.
No accuracy, no play calling,
Nope.
No execution,
24, 25
no speed.
year olds.
No, it was just old.
Grown
Just old guys.
If you get more accurate as you get older, I should be able to rip right now. And I'm just, I can throw the little ball pretty good, but probably not as accurate as I used to be.
Skin.
Yeah, just saying.
Might not get there as quickly as it once did.
No, I don't think the velocity's dropped off too bad.
Release a little bit slower, maybe?
No, release is probably just the exact same. I'll tell you what has probably slowed down. Footwork's probably slowed down a bit. Not sure I'll be able to drop as fast or as deep. Not sure I'll be able to drop as fast or as deep. Not sure I'll be able to get my feet underneath me or
what
throw
about
off
eluding
pitch.
the rush?
Probably going to be a little more deliberate. Probably not
Escapability not quite as quick.
not as quick, not as twitchy. But I do feel like perfect pocket. I can probably get it there. I just don't think it's going to get there as often as it used to get there. I think I have a few more misses built into the game plan this year.
I'm with you. I think it's easy for Spurrier to say these things, to maybe take this mindset into it, and especially Dabo, maybe moving with the idea that he should or would go operate this way. I don't think that's one that we look at and say that, yeah, he's just going to rip it all down and burn the rule book and go in there and say whatever he wants to or do whatever he wants to. But it does bring to light a little bit of kind of where do you live as a head coach right now? Because of that gray area we discussed earlier. Because of we know there are certain guys taking this mindset of essentially prove it.
Yeah.
Prove to me that you can enable some sort of acting with recourse based on what we're doing wrong. Because we don't think you can.
Yeah.
Prove to me that you can actually come in here and enforce some sort of rules. And who's going to enforce them and how are you going to enforce them? I think, Greg, and I've had people tell me this about other programs, so I haven't spoken to the people who are allegedly acting in accordance to what Spurrier said, but according to other coaches, there are programs that are acting with the mindset of, we're going to do this until they show us we can't.
Yeah.
And until you show us we can't, why should we stop? because they don't think they have any enforcement power and they don't think they have any way to truly enforce the rules anymore.
100%. I don't really blame people for doing that. I would have a hard time with it just for fear of it blowing up. And I know that I would be the one that got caught. You know, like I just know that in my heart of hearts, like my program would be the one that gets the death penalty because of the way I was acting. The one program in college football that gets penalized, the one I'm leading, like that would be my fear. I couldn't sleep. Like I couldn't do it. But I understand why guys would challenge them.
Yeah.
I mean, you touch the stove and it's hot, but for whatever reason, you have this unbelievable resistance to heat on your skin. Then guess what? You can probably touch the stove without a whole lot of issues.
Potentially, yes.
I mean, so I think that right now I don't really blame them. We're talking about millions upon millions of dollars for these head coaches that are on the line. Like you're telling me I can make $8 million a year, and if I got to skirt the rules a bit, fine, come get it.
Yep.
Like I just want to keep making this money. Like I just need to extend. They have a thing in television: overages and extensions. That's the trick. Overages when you work more days than you're supposed to, so you get paid more, and then extensions just reset the clock. Overages and extensions, baby. Keep it going. And I think that's where these coaches are now too. Like Buzz Williams talked about this with a buddy the other day. Buzz Williams, coach at Marquette, goes to Virginia Tech to A&M, A&M to Maryland. He leaves right before things are about to fall apart and resets the clock.
It's a fresh start.
Overages and extensions. So these guys just want to keep that thing going. If they got to mess with the rules a bit, so be it.
Well, and unfortunately, that's what a lot of folks behind the scenes their mindset is as well. And that's just to hang on to that paycheck, because kind of similar to what we're talking about, why college athletes are doing everything they can to stay in school. Director of player personnel, offensive analyst, offensive line coach, nickels coach. Give me another walk of life. These guys are making a third of that money that they realistically would qualify for. Like, I'm not talking super money manager at, KMPG or whatever, like that's been doing it for 30 years. I'm talking about a normal job that these guys out of college could go do, work 4 or 5 years to get a promotion, and make $800,000 a year.
How many jobs in the world are paying $800?
Well, probably just
you can tell me about like the football coaches that could go into the private sector, but like how many jobs in the world are paying 7 figures?
Not many.
Not a ton.
Not many people out there making that kind of scrap.
We got O-line coaches making $1 million a year.
We're worth every penny. Want to know why?
Slot protection.
Worst job in sports. You got to deal with 20 guys that are all like coal. Imagine that.
You got to deal with guys
20.
that
I got to deal with one.
I'm
could
only
be
a left
your
tackle.
starting right tackle.
I'm only a left tackle.
That are voluntarily saying, I'm not starting at right tackle because I'm a left tackle. I'll be second string. Thanks.
Bigger than you, always hungry.
Right,
You don't
gotta
mess
feed
with
them.
that.
Yeah.
Like you have the insecure guy, you have the meathead, you have the chip on the shoulder guy,
There's
you
at
have
least one nerd. Yeah.
you have the guy that thinks he's a fashion guy. You got a nerd, like you
You
got
do have that. It's like the kid on the Instagram post that I sent that built his own offensive line. Like he pretty much nailed it.
100%. You got a guy that won't shower. You got a guy that showers too much. Like it's all over the place.
You got the super smart guy.
Yeah, you definitely have a nerd,
guy.
100%. You have a guy from the country that speaks really, really slow. You got a guy from the city that speaks really, really fast. Like it's just everything.
That country guy too. His belly's always hanging out of his t-shirt.
100%. You might actually kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. The country guy could potentially be the guy that doesn't shower, or it also could be the city guy that doesn't shower too. You might have 2 guys that don't shower. Like and you got real issues. You got one guy that's
you're watching
sloppy.
film and it's all jammed in tight. That's not comfortable for anybody.
You got one guy that doesn't understand why we're watching tape. I should just be in the weight room. We got one guy that thinks he should be skinny and play tight end, but he actually is too big, so he had to put weight on and is now playing tackle. He thinks that he should be a tight end still, even though he's starting year 2 as a tackle.
Or thinks he should be on defense.
There's always a guy that was a former defensive player in high school that moves to O-line that thinks that he, if given the opportunity, would be Quinton Williams on defense. Like it's a mess. Like the quarterback room's all the same. Like we're all the same. All the quarterback personalities are the exact same.
Which one were you? Were you the belly hanging out?
Oh no, every quarterback to a certain extent has like a little bit of nerd, is a little bit of type A,
a little bit,
is a little bit of like a perfectionist, a little bit of an alpha, a little bit of a jerk.
What's the one alternate quarterback personality?
The
Is it
guy
like the
that is
super
like,
ego guy?
No,
or is
Diego
it-
Pavia.
no, super laid back, like acts like he doesn't care.
Yeah, like the backup quarterback in the program who's dating the head coach's daughter. It's just
100%. That's exactly.
Smooth sailing.
Ain't nothing gonna happen.
That's
You're Ronnie
exactly.
Sunshine Bass. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I ain't
No, acts
worried-
like he doesn't care.
I ain't worried
Like,
about
there
it.
is the occasional like I don't care guy. Like
And
whatever.
then he comes in the game and just right out of the gate. He
Doesn't
was.
care.
Let it go. Didn't care.
A little bit, but
Little
not to this. As long as you know that every single one of them.
Praying
Touch?
to the great little bit of grit to him. Like, just give me one.
In the receiver
Give me
room,
one
got
guy in
one.
that room that like has a little bit of
1 out of
accountability
16.
and doesn't mind a block just a little bit. Like, we can't have all the prima donnas in
No,
there.
you
I just
need to have-
one guy that has just give me a little Anquan Bolden in there somewhere.
Everybody's
Just
open.
one.
Like a little Marquise Mays, a little bit, like a little Courtney Taylor. I just need a little bit of that
Just a little
somewhere in the room,
Yep.
somewhere. So
100%.
everybody else can see that and be like, all right, maybe I'll be a little bit like him today.
yeah.
Just a little.
To just today, not
Not
tomorrow.
It's okay if not every ball
You
gets
got
thrown
one.
to me
You
in
got one day
practice.
a week.
Yeah.
You got 1 day a week from us.
Like there's nothing better than like a grinder receiver. Like the absolute best. Like guy will go in there, dig out a safety, doesn't care. You throw me give me 2 looks a game, I'm perfectly fine. Like doesn't really matter. Like let me just go in there and hit somebody hard.
Dude's
on a
probably a
blindside
really
block.
good basketball player too. That guy's usually a really good basketball player. You're like your hardcore receiver. He can hoop. Usually not as fast. Not afraid to get out there and block, do a little extra stuff. But there's not many of those guys out there. There's not.
Not
No,
in this
there's
day
not.
and age. Not in this day and age.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Not any day and age. Not receiver.
Not receiver.
Not receiver. I mean, even back in my day, the receiver room was pretty,
100%.
and they knew it. They would tell you.
No
Yeah, of
question.
course.
They would tell you.
They had the best bodies. They were the longest. Like
But
they were in the best shape.
Of course.
Like the receivers. It's a little bit like they're the sports car. In the garage, if the locker room is a garage, they're the sports car.
Yep.
The problem is you need one receiver that's a Chevy Trailblazer that is very effective.
Actually, it could be that new Dodge thing they have now that all the kids get pulled over in. The
What?
Dodge SUV that goes like 180.
A
I don't know what it's
Durango.
called. Is it a Durango?
Oh no.
Durango Sport GT
That feels like it.
Hurl Bag, whatever it's called. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, if you can get
Thundercat.
like one receiver that's like an SUV but still runs fast, you're cooking.
What's the DB room? Are they
boy.
are they like the Fieros, like wannabe sports cars, but they're not quite the real sports cars?
No, there's
Are they like
definitely
the-
still the sports cars, but there's always like three DBs that I swear if the wind blew the wrong way, they got a hamstring, they can't go. Like there's always like
Wow.
tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, so they're the Cybertruck. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Pretty much.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a Tesla Model S. Where like they are absolutely a high performance vehicle, but it does require like a little bit
Little
more
maintenance.
time and attention.
I would say, depending on what offense you run and what defense you run, either the edge or the tight ends or the Cybertrucks, because everybody takes a double take when they walk by, but they don't always operate as advertised. Like
What, you said tight end?
6'6", 245, and
It
when
looks
you're running a
good.
sprint, you're like, good
It looks
Lord.
good.
Then the ball gets thrown his way, and you're like, oh boy.
See why they
Or
had
he
me
has to
do it.
try to block an edge defender by himself, and you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, no. The Cybertruck really doesn't go off road. It just tells you it does.
Correct.
Oh, they make him an orange? Oh.
No, it doesn't. It sounds great to be all electric,
Correct.
but it's
Until-
not always what it's cut out to be.
100%.
Like some of the prettier, flashier edge guys, like all of a sudden you run outside zone that direction.
Don't look that
Cybertruck.
good.
Oh, cool. The
Cybertruck.
handle goes into the. Hey, I can't get in. It's
You
frozen.
can't get the door open.
No question.
Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden it starts driving itself, and it's just not exactly what you intended it to do.
You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot about a football team by walking through the parking lot.
Oh, 100%.
You really can.
100%.
I'm not kidding when it would surprise you how much.
This day and age too, you think? That?
Oh, 100%. I remember the Bengals being like the best example my last year. Like you walk through the parking lot and we all had our assigned spots, and it's like McElroy 7 and there's, Toyota 4Runner. Like, like about right, checks out. Then you see like some of the other guys, it's like Maserati. Okay, that checks out. Okay, that's a gigantic Escalade on spinners. Perfect, that checks out. Like, oh, there's the biggest F-350. Yep, lineman from Nebraska. Like, it's like every single one. It's unbelievable. It's so good. And you buy a car that fits your personality. You really do.
So did the kicker have a Mini Cooper?
I'm trying to think. That was Nugent. So what did Nugent drive? I think he had just your run of the mill
Geo Metro?
Yeah, like a no, I think he had a small SUV. He might have had a Grand Cherokee. I think he had a Grand Cherokee.
Okay.
That checks out. That's solid.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Got to get to a quick break. More right after this. All right, so I want to throw this one at you guys and tell me if you agree here. Biggest differential of personality in a position room. So you might have guys literally all across the board. You brought up O-line a little bit earlier, and that, to an extent, was accurate. But I would actually go running back or linebacker with biggest, like, all across the board personalities, more so than any other position on the team.
Considering the size of the room, like, it's 5 guys at running back, 6 maybe. Linebacker, probably about the same if we're talking off the ball. If you start to incorporate the edge guys, it's a little different. But off the ball, inside linebackers, probably 5 or 6 guys at most. Like, considering the size, there's a pretty wide gap. Like, you're going to have someone from the country. You're going to have someone from the city. You're going to have someone that is really a little bit more of a runner, like a finesse athletic guy.
Right.
And then you're going to have like an absolute thumper that, wants to bale hay on Christmas. Like, it's the best. Like, the running backs and the linebackers are very different. I still think the biggest gaps in personality, though, is the offensive line. I don't think it's close. Like it's a United Nations in there when it comes to personality.
Literally and figuratively.
And the funny thing is, like, they're all on the bigger side, so they're all have like this tiny, tiny bit of insecurity, all of them. Like, for whatever reason. That's why I think their personalities are so.
It's because we're fat, number one.
You can say it. I can't say it. So, like, there's this tiny bit of insecurity for a lot of them because at some point or another, they were made fun of as a young kid for whatnot. Who cares? But so that's why their personalities are so big to overcompensate for what it was that they have to deal with being a bigger guy.
Yeah, because you were excluded from so many things across the course of your life. You had to have the bigger personality.
100%. It's the best room.
I mean, like, you're not allowed to ride zip lines. I mean,
well, for your own good.
My point, like, there are certain, like, what other positions not allowed to play in their Pee-wee football leagues because they're too heavy? The tailbacks aren't not allowed to play. The corners aren't not allowed to play.
You're not allowed to touch the ball. You're allowed to play.
There are certain vehicles we just can't fit in.
Yeah. You have to get custom
suits. I'm in a Mustang. Like, hey, big dog, you need a ride?
You can't buy suits off the rack. Like, that's unfortunate.
Can't sit in the backseat of a sports car.
No.
Like, no. You get back there. Hey, guy, I literally can't get back there.
It's detrimental to your health if you're back there.
How many other positions on the team have to shop at a certain store for their clothes? Like, can't go to the department store and buy gear. There's not many other positions. Now, maybe like the linebackers and their neck size, they can't go buy a shirt. Like, Taquille wasn't buying dress shirts off the rack.
It's custom made.
I need a 23. You got
Still,
that?
By the way.
I need a 23 with 34-inch arms. You got that?
So we had to go big and tall.
Oh, man.
Y'all don't have double.
Literally had your own section or your own store.
Own store.
Yeah.
Whew.
And you had to walk in and out. Yeah. And people were sitting there, ha, ha. Like one of my best friends had to shop as a big and tall.
In and out. We dominated that place. Like, it was,
not in Auburn, you did.
Not in Auburn, but when we got around one, we did. When we got around one, we made it count. We made it work.
Man.
Yeah, it's tough. I really feel bad for you. To be the physical beast that y'all are. Guess what? You're not making the prayer list.
Stephen Madrid said DBs are sports cars that are waiting on a part that's on back order.
That's very fair.
That's fair.
There's like 3 in the room. There's 12 to 14 in the room. There's going to be 3 that are going to have something wrong with them every day.
Yep.
For sure.
Tate Main says,
you guys too, wideouts. Don't even get me started with y'all. Oh man, I don't know if I can give it to you today. I got this calf.
Elbow.
This calf is just I slept on it weird. It's your calf.
Tate Main said it's called a track hawk. Yeah, that's what they would be. Joey Hocut said Hines Ward. Bro, even Hines Ward was 1 in a million.
Oh, yeah.
For the receiver room.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure. He is next level.
Asking for one of those, you might as well be asking for Orlando Pace in the offensive line room. Like, I mean, it's just, you're not.
It's a unicorn, man.
Yeah. That good luck finding another Hines Ward.
Never.
Dude was
I'll tell you
amazing.
what, you know who's got some Hines Ward vibes to me, though, is Jeremy Bernard.
100%.
Like, he's got some Hines Ward vibes.
I told you, my comp for him is Anquan Bolden.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not as big, but like love
Get
that
it done.
guy. Yeah.
But not afraid to work the middle of the field. Not going to just beat you with speed all the time. We'll do the dirty work. 100%. That's where I put
love
him in
this
that same
conversation.
category. Yeah. We'll continue next right here on Jocks.